everyone, I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com, and today's topic is worldly concerns. So I would just go ahead and get started. It says, hi Lynn, could you look at the current tensions between Greece and Turkey? Will it escalate into any sort of conflict? So when I look at this, I do see continued conflict. I don't see it escalating into a major conflict like an actual all-out war, even though the threat is very real. I get the military there. All the military is involved and close are on high alert, and there's definitely a division between the two countries, and I see other countries intervening to attempt to de-escalate the tension and use intimidation to prevent a larger event from occurring. So that's what I see in regards to that. Next question is, will the European Union consolidate or shrink as Italy is showing signs of wanting to leave? Many thanks. So, Brexit, right? It looks to have started a trend in a pathway of wanting to exit. And I do see the EU shrinking. And this isn't going to be just due to Italy. Other countries are going to start to follow suit as well. This doesn't make the EU happy. And for this reason and concern, they tried to block Brexit. That's why they blocked it for so long. They didn't want other countries leaving as well. The EU imposes too many regulations and control, and the countries are tired of it. I get a lot of activities going to play out over the next several months as the EU tries to fight this, because they're going to do everything they can to regain control of what they currently have. All right, next question. I live in the UK. We are all wondering if there's going to be a second wave of the beer bug in autumn. Will it be gone by the end of summer? So I've always seen that this beer bug is most definitely going to be back. It's going to re-emerge in the fall, and I can't, like maybe October, in time to push for mail-in ballot voting in the US. So they're going to time it, and it's going to end up being in some of the larger countries as well. The Dems, they want to do whatever they can, whether the threat is real or a media-driven rumor, to enable fraud at the polls. Their hate for Trump is unmatched, and they are relentless trying to get him out of office. And that's really no secret, and people see that. It's so blatant. Trump, regardless of individual opinions, is on the radar of a lot of countries, including the UK. So it doesn't really matter if you like him or not. You're still paying attention to him. As people see him fighting to keep the true original constitutional beliefs, there are others being motivated to demand rights and freedoms too. So he's sort of leading a trend where people are wanting to be outspoken. The Dems of the US and the leaders of other controlling countries want the revolting to stop and the swamp to stay as is, because he is starting to slowly get it drained. They will not stop, and they're gonna do what they need to do to attempt to change the current leadership to a more socialist control, even if it means sparking a fear-demic which looks to spread again. So I fully see this happening again in the fall, unfortunately. So the next question that was asked, in light of the current events, what do you see in store for India in terms of economy, currency, and politics, as well as talk of skirmish and battle with China? Currently, it seems that the current attitude is very pro-West, and the prime minister of the country seems to be a very theatrical person who has the ability to over-dramatize and play on people's emotions very effectively. He seems to be very concerned about gaining admiration and respect from world leaders, and almost willing to do anything to be in their favor. So what's going on with that, right? So, I mean, this does feel incredibly intense and something to watch. I see continuous cat and mouse games between the two countries. It looks like trade battles continue to go on for many months to come. So this isn't a quick fix. This isn't going to be over immediately. India needs and wants Chinese goods, and China wants the revenue. So they both are somewhat dependent upon each other, but neither one of them likes that they are. And I get India's going to start to pull back, become less dependent on China, because they don't like the power that China has over them, because they need their stuff. And as India pulls back, China becomes angry, which tends to lead to more fighting and tension in other ways. So it's kind of like this thing of, oh, I got you, well, I'm going to get you back in a different way. The Indian economy suffers some because what looks like happening as trade disputes occur, China pulls some of their investments out in retaliation. Like, oh, you don't want to buy our stuff? Well, we'll just pull our investments out. And that's how they try to hurt India. So India looks to try to lean on other more democratic nations for support, and that need drives Indian government to seek admiration that was described in the question itself. This also angers China and makes China gravitate more toward Russian alliance. So much more is going to emerge with that as we move forward into the upcoming months. I really see China and Russia becoming thick for a lot of different reasons, and this is one of them. Okay, so the last question that was asked here, it says in 2016, India had a demonetization of currency overnight, which caused a lot of hardship to common people, but the government didn't care. It seems to me that this country was used as a guinea pig to see how cash can be eliminated in a democracy without an uprising. What do you see in store for Indian markets? And do you see any issues with food shortages and power grid failure? So this is a great question. So I see that stock markets and the economy are going to struggle with these current tensions. Investors feel uneasy about stability, which makes them want to pull funds, creating a circular loop, driving the market values down. So basically you have this catch-22 of, oh, we're uncertain, we're going to pull. Well, that pulling makes it drive down more, which creates more uncertainty. So then you just have this circular loop coming over and over. The next year overall, it feels to be really intense with regard to the market and trying to stabilize it. I don't see an issue with food shortage, but I do get the cost of food is going to rise. Inflation is going to be seen and felt with regard to all goods, whether it's food, clothing, objects, it doesn't matter. I just see an overall inflation occurring. And I get that many power grids are outdated in this area and they're going to have issues. And I saw that maintenance hasn't been occurring the way that it should. And as a result, there's going to be some minor outages that do feel recoverable, but it's definitely going to be something that they have to deal with. I would say there's some inconsistent outages, but overall India is going to be able to bounce back without having major blackouts. I get that there might be brownouts, but not blackouts. And I thought that was a weird phrase to hear, but that is what I heard when I tuned into this topic and this subject. So all in all, that's really all I had. I realize this was kind of a long reading. I do appreciate you taking time to listen. Please feel free to leave a comment. I'm curious your thoughts. Do you live in any of these areas? Are you already experiencing this stuff? So I know there's a lot going out there all over the world. Again, I'm Lynn. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat. I appreciate you listening, taking time out of your day to tune into my channel. Please leave a comment, like my channel, share my work. I really appreciate it. And again, I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Thanks. Bye.